Now, if you wanted to travel to the north of Scotland up to now, you had a choice. You could take the high road or you could take the low road.
Now there's another option. You can take a seaplane from the centre of Glasgow. Well, our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon is there. Well, what's this all about, Lorna?
Yes, good morning. You can see behind me the Science Centre, which is just off the Clyde. This is much changed. That's an iconic building. It's the new Glasgow. You see a bit of the old there. The Waverley, which is the oldest ocean-going paddle steamer in the world. And in just about a minute's time, you're also going to see a seaplane landing right in the centre of Glasgow. Well, with me is David West from the company that's going to run this service. This really harks back to a different era, doesn't it?
It's the halcyon days of travel, really. It's we call it back to the future. Just coming through a speed of about 80 knots over the city centre. It's about 500 feet now, and he's just picking his landing spot.
I have never seen something like this on the Clyde before, or even in fact heard something like this.
Well, it's just perfect. It's a perfect iconic image, and the service is going to reflect that. I'd just like to listen to the noise.
Now, of course, the weather's good today, but it's not always like this in Glasgow, is it? How confident are you that this service is going to be able to run?
We're very confident. The routes that we've chosen optimise our weather situation, if you like. And it's very much, if you talk to Captain Darren Hansen, who's just landed the aircraft, it's very much, the weather isn't that different, believe it or not, from the British Columbia coast off Vancouver.
And of course, just one other thing, the first place the seaplane will be going to is Oban. That's normally 2.5 hours by car. If you go by plane, it'll take 22 minutes.
Thanks, Lorna. Amazing timing. Brilliantly timed, Lorna.
Yeah.
I don't know how she managed it. There you
Thanks, Lorna, very much. It's very interesting. Glasgow certainly is the place
Live
to be
on
these
Breakfast, a
days.
seaplane landing. What do we have next? If you wanted to travel to the north of Scotland up to now, you had a choice. You could take the high road or you could take the low road.
Or you could take the plane. There's another option now then, a seaplane from the centre of Glasgow. Well, our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon is there. Glasgow really is becoming the place to be, Lorna. What's happening?
It really is very beautiful down here on the waterfront on the Clyde this morning. You can see behind me the iconic Science Centre. Of course, there's a lot of regeneration going on. You can see some building work. This is Govan, previously known for its shipyards, and now the latest addition, a seaplane. Look at this. It's even got wheels so it can land on a runway if required. Darren, the pilot, is still inside. We saw him landing it earlier. Good morning. Where do you normally fly, Darren?
Good morning. Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Bit different there, is it?
Yeah, a little bit different, but very similar weather and terrain. It's very nice here.
Okay, all right, thanks very much for that. Also with us this morning is Stephen Purcell, the leader of Glasgow City Council, and David West, who runs the company here. We'll start with you, Stephen, first of all. What does this mean for Glasgow?
Well, this is just another vote of confidence in the regeneration of our waterfront. It comes when a recent international study has told us that the regeneration of the Clyde, when complete, will be supporting or have created 50,000 jobs. And just imagine boarding at this classic seaplane and within 30 minutes landing in one of the most beautiful parts of Scotland in a journey that would normally take 3 or 4 hours. That's a great boost for our economy here in Glasgow, but it's also a huge opportunity for the Highlands and Islands to capture a share of the economic success that Glasgow is enjoying.
They once boasted restaurants, cocktail bars and libraries linking Britain to the farthest flung corners of the empire. Now, more than 50 years after the UK's last commercial flying boat flew off from Southampton Dock, the seaplane is back.
It'll operate from Glasgow's River Clyde, and the first destination will be Oban, aiming to reduce travelling time between Glasgow and remote Highland communities. When our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon has more. Good morning, Lorna.
Good morning. Yes, it will reduce the travelling time from about 2.5 hours to 22 minutes. That's how long it'll take using this seaplane to get to that beautiful port on the west coast of Scotland. But what a plane, eh? About £1 million worth, gleaming in the beautiful Scottish sunlight this morning. It's quite small. It's even got wheels so it can land on a runway if required. Darren's the pilot who's been flying it in. I know you normally fly in Vancouver. How do the two places compare?
Very similar. The train and along the ocean and stuff. And they're both very beautiful places.
How are you enjoying flying in Scotland?
Good. Spectacular scenery and great people.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Darren. Also with us is David West, who operates and owns the company, and Scott Taylor from Glasgow City Marketing Bureau. I suppose the big tourism question is, who will this appeal to?
Well, we have 3 million tourists that come to Glasgow each year, and I think those visitors want to fly around the archipelago of Scotland, which is no more than 12 minutes away.
David, we saw it land this morning. It looked fantastic coming in.
It is. It's smooth, lots of space, very quick. Business class, basically.
It did look beautiful landing on the Clyde, though, didn't it? Perfect weather.
The imagery is fantastic. It's very iconic, of course. As I said earlier, it's very much back to the flying boats, the halcyon days of travel. Flying boat coming across from New York to Shannon, and Irish coffees before they refuel and onwards to London. It's got all that kind of feel about it.
What's it like flying it? Because I know you normally fly the big Airbus planes to, I don't know, far-flung destinations like Hong Kong and things like that.
Well, we feel we've got a very strange industry where jumbo captains want to fly float planes, and we've got float plane pilots wanting to fly jumbo. So very strange, but I know what I'd rather be flying.
And what's it like inside? I know we can, very briefly, what's it like inside?
Well, we've got space for 9 people. It's leather seats, as I said, very much business class, and smooth and quiet as well.
So pretty luxurious in there.
It certainly is.
Okay, all right, well, thank you all very much for that. Proving very popular already. This is the inaugural flight today. We saw it make its first official landing on the Clyde a little earlier, but this service is already booked up for weeks to come.
Lorna, thank you very much.